Good evening. This is Saturday, September 7, 2019. And tonight I'd like to mostly focus on astrology and what is affecting us again right now, but also the origination of astrology and why I turned to astrology. I did not become an astrologer until I was in my early 50s. And at that time, I got out some books, started reading, and I got so fascinated by it that I was studying 6 hours a day for about 5 years, and eventually ended up writing an astrology column for the well-known arts and entertainment magazine Venice, and became an astrologer by profession. Spiritual astrology always appealed to me the most, basically because I wasn't looking for a predictive element to astrology. I was looking for the understanding of soul growth and the reason for suffering, and what was the contract that I made spiritually before I came into this lifetime so that I could live with that and grow with that and have deeper understanding of why I chose the mom I did, the father I did, the siblings, and look at their charts and see gain a deeper understanding of the soul connections amongst all of us. The ancient Chaldeans were the first astrologers. Astrology is the oldest science that is existing, and initially their lives being much more simplistic than ours, and much closer to the heavens and to earth. They started to study the heavens to gain a great understanding of the shifts of the different planetary alignments in the heavens, and they became brilliant at aligning personality shifts and certain stresses and blessings that were associated with the heavenly energetic imprints. So what is it that happens? What is our chart? Well, when we're born, there's a specific geometric setup in the heavens at that moment when we were born. And that is imprinted on our body at our moment of birth. So that is kind of the blueprint of our life. It's the moment that we chose for the expression of life that we wanted to live. It shows in great detail the times in your life that are going to have greater stresses, greater victories, greater opportunities for love, deeper understandings of spiritual intensity, and it's really an illuminating study. I would ask everybody to take a peek at it. My very first book I studied was spiritual astrology, and I stayed with the esoteric realm of astrology, moving deeper as I got older into the planet Pluto, because I was seeking to understand my own sign, which being a Scorpio, I have many, many planets in Scorpio. Now you may say, what is it about identical twins, that there are twins that are born in the same, within 5 minutes of each other, same hospital, same parents, and yet there is an identical sameness, but there's also a difference between the two personalities. And what I would like to explain that is at the time of birth, we come in with a specific evolutionary level of being according to the karma that we brought in with us. And so as to how our life unfolds, those two beings that are identical twins are going to go through the same impactful, energetic stresses and victory opportunities, but as to how they react to life will depend on their level of evolution. Just as you know in your own life, as you've grown and developed, the things that triggered you when you were young, as you grew older and you became wiser and more mature in your approach to how you treated people, your response and your shift in how you responded and reacted to life became very, very different. So, we may say, well, I'm still not quite certain about astrology. Well, I can tell you, just looking back on the different situations in my own life, and being a Scorpio with 4 planets in Scorpio, I faced an enormous amount of death at a very young age. And death was always on my mind since I was a small child. It was just constantly a thing that I was interrogating everybody about. And I guess that's why I eventually ended up doing hospice work and dealing with people that are dying and helping them to deal with grief, people that have lost people through death, and then eventually becoming a medium. It's a very natural path with all the planets that I have. Something that I find interesting that you might see as a correlation is I was looking at Joe Biden's chart, and with his chart, he's born 4 days after I am. And it's very interesting because we both suffered serious head problems. I had serious head injuries when I was younger through horsemanship. He had actually an aneurysm in the brain. I went through the death of spouses and of 2 children. And he lost his most beloved same-sex child when the child was age 46, just as I did when my daughter was age 46. So we've had a lot of similar impactful experiences visit us in life as Pluto has moved around the chart, Pluto being our ruling planet. Now I speak for the world right now that, and we talked about it in another chart, that this Pluto-Saturn joining together on January the 10th is going to create a very impactful experience for not only our country but for the world, because as goes the United States, and as we are also deeply connected and we have a lot of power as a country with a great economy, so goes the world. And so what's been happening is that Pluto and Saturn have both been retrograde, and on the 14th Saturn goes direct, and when it goes direct it's going to square the Sun of the United States, which is 13 degrees Cancer. Saturn is going to go direct. It's going to oppose, the Sun of the United States, and Saturn is going to be at 13 degrees Capricorn in complete opposition. Then on the 4th of October, you're going to see Pluto go direct. And so what's happening is all the situations that we've seen held up, blocked, or we thought over the summer, well, I don't think there's going to be impeachment, or I don't think he's going to get away with a lot of this stuff he's doing, our president. And we had a feeling that everything was kind of in the weeds, that even though we were observing all these atrocities, we felt like there was no movement or solution or action being taken. But now I can assure you, with these 2 planets going direct, by the end of the month, you're going to see an intensification, and you're going to see action. And I would say keep an eye on Congress, because there's going to be a lot of action in Congress. Whether they decide to impeach her or not, there's going to be a lot that's revealed, a lot brought to the surface. With the Jeffrey Epstein case, there's going to be a lot brought to the surface with Deutsche Bank. There's going to be a lot moving forward with the issues, as we discussed before, about children. There's going to be a lot revealed. And one is going to probably uncover the fact that, because there's a lot of karma attached to what we've done to the children. So as everything is unfolding, you're going to start noticing, excuse me, that there's a big impact on what's going on and what is actually happened there behind the scenes. So it's going to be a time of revealing and a time of people actually really taking action. The same applies to Brexit in England and the great disastrous mess that's been going on there, because it's been kind of a mini Trump situation, and a similar subversive act by the Russians to get in there to try to break up the European Union. And so it's been coming at both sides with two similar leaders. Well, both of those leaders are now going to face their comeuppance. And so you watch mid-October onwards, things are going to start shifting a lot. Now, what is it about, we say, oh, well, those stars are all so far away from us, how can they be affecting us? But we know now through all the magnetic therapies that are being used on people through the scientific studies of energy, that as we vibrate within our form down to the smallest atom, the oscillation of the photons and the electrons that are creating our life force energy in our body, those are being affected energetically by the movements and shifts of the heavens. So they actually have instruments now that can measure the effect of anger on a tree 100 feet away. That's our energy. But what we have not yet accomplished, but will in the future, is track the energy of anger or love or joy or creativity or whatever it is we're sending out, emanating, that is going to an infinite place, that the words we send out carry energy. The saying, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, was relating to the understanding of God being vibration, and our words having vibration, and the energy with which we send out our words carrying a specific vibration that is affecting everything. So everything is affecting everything. And as the heavens shift and move in each moment, so does it take one energetic geometrical configuration is sitting on top of our initial geometric configuration. And what is creating harmony or angst is depending on how we adjust to those movements. So if we have learned to move more into a state of deep wells of understanding and more of a flowing, allowing with life and with the shifts and movements and ups and downs of life, and not get caught on the wheel, we will have a less stressful existence. We will be in alignment, and being in alignment literally is being in the moment. So just consider the ebb and flow of the moon's effects on our body, which is 50 to 60% water. And so the fact of the full moon having a profound effect on our moods. And if you can talk to any psychiatrist with a lockdown ward, that how booked they are, and how it can be empty a few days ahead of time, and then just be completely filled at the time of the full moon, because we are water, mostly water, and so we are affected by the ebb and flow of the moon. Dane Rudyard, who was sort of the astrological genius of the 26th century, he knew this best. And I just wrote something here. He broke the glass ceiling on new perspectives regarding how our cyclical expression of being can be best developed or compensated. For when you really think about it, what is suffering but an energetic field of conflicting energies? So why are you getting along more with some people than other people? Because your energies are in alignment more with certain people. And yet, when we choose a mate, often you'll see when people come to me for relationship charts, you'll see that there's a certain amount of spiciness or not perfect complementary alignment that seems to bring a bit of an edge, and it brings growth, which is why people come together, is for the love and for the growth. And it also brings a tendency to learn about projection and where we're triggered and where are our deepest wounds. So astrologically, when I look at the true charts of people, I look a lot, obviously, at the Venus-Mars connection, the moon connections, the Mars being a deep expression of our sexual energy, our ego, how we put our force out there in the world, and our Venus being more our love nature, our Venus also being deeply related to how we spend money, how we feel about money, and our journey with money. And the moon being our yin, feminine, subconscious, deeper, vast, beneath the surface, storehouse of memories and experiences through not just this life, but many lives. And so our moon is very powerfully related to past lives and how we will in this life emotionally react to situations and to other people. So the moon compatibility is very important, because if you have a very sensitive, soft, gentle moon and somebody else has a more pragmatic moon, it's like your emotional natures, especially if the Mercuries are fighting with each other, it's very, very difficult to achieve an emotional synergy with that person. So I'm going to end there today, leave it there to think about all that. And if you do like these readings and these explanations, please do subscribe to the channel. And also, you're welcome to contact me at angelicmercy44@gmail.com to set up a reading. I do readings all over the world, and I've given over 9,000 readings in my life. So my readings, I would say, are mostly connected to the growth that you're going through, the suffering you've been through, and how to really help you through that, and also to give you encouragement and enlightenment about the great gifts that are hidden within the depths of your chart that you may not have yet accessed, that you may have known you had secret dreams or longings, but you haven't followed them, or you were unsure about them. So that's another way that we could work together, or gain greater understanding about your mate or your siblings or your parents, friendships, whatever. Thank you so much, and I send you love and divine mercy, and I thank you for taking the time to listen. Good night.